The other day was definitely one of the sadder days for people like me who absolutely love comics, love artists, and love writers. We lost a big one with Peter David. And to me, he was a true titan in the world of comics, delivering multiple long-running series and earned both critical acclaim and loyalty from comic fans all over the world, especially if you're around my age or a little bit older and grew up with things like the Hulk, Young Justice, Aquaman, and much, much more. So today, I am diving into my personal top 10 Peter David comics. And even at the bottom of this list, you'll find something still enjoyable. It's just it gets better as we go along. So let's just jump right into it. So my number 10 is Supergirl, and this run is a bit of a strange beast. When I first read it, I didn't connect with it at all. To really appreciate it, you have to shed any preconceived notions of Kara. This is not her. This is not the one in TV shows or even ones that you might have known just from the name Supergirl. This is Matrix fused with Linda Lee Danvers, and it's definitely different, but sometimes different isn't always bad. But if you strip away those expectations like I did on my second reread, what you're left with is a fun mid-90s superhero story about a young girl fighting evil. While my initial read definitely was rocky, revisiting years later, I developed a real appreciation for its just kind of laid back 90s vibe. As a child of that decade, I can definitely connect with it in some way. It might not be my absolute favorite from him, but I think it's a pretty solid run and definitely something that is a bit more risk-taking than a lot of other people have done for the character. So my number 9 is Aquaman. So it might be wild to put Aquaman so high on the list, but I've only read the first about 12 issues, and you might argue, well, hey, that's not fair, you can't really judge a whole run, and you could be right. But even with just the first couple of arcs under my belt now, it's still a pretty fun comic. I love the dynamic between Aquaman and Aqualad. It truly feels kind of like a seasoned mentor guiding his sidekick. Plus, this is when Dolphin came in. Now, I didn't really know about her until I read a run much later in the Rebirth era, and I absolutely loved her there. So it was kind of cool to see where she came with, and she's also smoking freaking hot. And the run starts off pretty friggin' frantic. By the second issue, that's the famous moment where Aquaman loses his hand right away by it getting eaten by piranhas. So, loved all that. So I think the run is fun, and that's pretty cool to have just a fun run for Aquaman. It's not my favorite. I don't think it's super deep. I think it can be a little cheesy at times, but hey, it's Aquaman. That's more than I could ask for most times I'm reading an Aquaman story. Coming at number 8 is the death of Jean DeWolf. Now, this is when the list starts turning for me. This is when I really start appreciating what we got from Peter David, because this one was really good. I only read it about 4 or 5 years ago. I was actually trying to read it to get excited for Sin Eater's return in Nick Spencer's SpiderMan run. I didn't know much about him, and I didn't really know much about the character of Jean DeWolf, a police officer who became a very close friend to Peter Parker and helped him during his superhero days. And Peter David, to me, masterfully crafts a dark, twisted story around her death at the hands of Sin Eater. The way he portrays Peter Parker's anger and mostly his grief is truly unique. Instead of just the over the top screaming and hand swinging and all that, it's more just like, why did this happen? Like, did it need to? It's unbelievably realistic at points and also sad, and that to me makes this one of the essential reads, not just for Peter David, but I think for Spider-Man. Number 7 is Fallen Angel. So this is one of Peter David's rare creator-owned projects, which is pretty incredible in itself. This intense, gritty, noir-style drama follows a mysterious woman named Lee, and she's literally a fallen angel from heaven as she navigates this dark and seedy city overflowing with problems and bad people. She takes it upon herself to deal with them. And this series to me is one that gets better the more you get into it, the more you learn about the city, the more you get into Lee and her complex character. I think she's an absolute knockout of a character because she's multi-layered, deep, refreshing, and the thing I love is that she makes mistakes despite all her immense powers, and that makes her relatable. The sequel series, which moved from DC Comics to IDW, also holds up remarkably well. And while I didn't love the art change, I do appreciate that the story felt like a true 20 years later story or sequel. Fans of things like, I think, Supernatural, the TV show, should definitely check this out. It feels and has that similar vibe, except might be a little bit darker. So my number 6 is Captain Marvel, and this is another relatively new discovery for me. I'm currently about halfway through the original 35 issues, and let me tell you, it's a fucking blast. What I absolutely adore about this series is just how much fun it can be. We follow Captain Marvel's son Genesis and Rick Jones, and they kind of fused into a single body. They have to switch back and forth, and doing that makes some for just great funny moments, and they navigate this cosmic craziness alongside everyday life. So like, Rick is just trying to rekindle his relationship with his hot sexy wife Marlo, while Genesis is trying to be a hero and live up to the name of his father, Captain Marvel. The series is just a perfect dose of like comedy and lightheartedness and pure enjoyment. I need in my life right now, I just need to have fun reading a comic, and this provides that. It's packed with so many hilarious moments, while also giving us some truly fantastic art. You know, just expect these like over-the-top laser battles and massive monsters and some steamy, you know, get it on scenes. And overall, we're just gonna have a great time. It's just such an entertaining series that I can easily recommend, and I haven't even finished it yet, but I know it's gonna go down. It might even be higher on my list when I do finish it, but I'm absolutely having a blast with this. So my number 5 is The Incredible Hulk. Now, I know, you're probably thinking, how is this number 5? How can it not be number 1? Well, let me clarify. I absolutely love most of the Hulk run. The first 2/3 of this series, especially the middle portion, is utterly fantastic. When Peter David delves into Bruce Banner's like mental state and his childhood and the abuse he endured, it's incredibly compelling. Seeing the Hulk split into 2 different personas and Bruce just grappling with it all is amazing. David truly explores what the Hulk means to Bruce in the end, and I absolutely love all of that. And we do get some brilliant comedic moments even with Grey Hulk and the various different styles of Hulk, like Smart Hulk. You know, all of this works. But then there's the ending to his run. I would say the last quarter of it, and then the reintroduction of Peter David. He comes back later, much later. Those aren't also very good too. So really the 4th omnibus and the 5th are the weak points of Peter David's run. I don't think any are very good, except maybe Hulk the End. But other than that, like, everything before that is great to near perfect, but that last third is, I gotta say, at best, like, merely okay, and at worst, it's fucking atrocious. So this sadly just holds it back from the entire run being absolutely perfection for me. But as far as the first 2/3, that is a must read. Coming at number 4 is Young Justice. Now, I approached Young Justice with open mind. I know this series was kind of geared towards a younger demographic, and after the original Teen Titans run concluded, DC decided to launch Young Justice for a younger audience and Titans for the older audience. But I was just excited simply because I liked all the individual characters, and when they came together, it actually felt like friends and family more than just like a regular superhero team-up book. And that's what you really get. The stories are wonderfully wacky and fun at times, and then sometimes we get surprisingly serious storylines. There's even stuff like school shooting issues that unfortunately will resonate for people today because, well, it's still freaking happening, and it just makes you kind of sad to see some things just not changing or not changing quick enough. And I personally just love the constant banter between all the characters, and I grew to love this whole cast by 50 plus issues into this series. And honestly, I could recommend it for almost all ages. Even as an old man like me, I absolutely had a blast reading it. But I think the younger audience, like the 12, 13, 14, and so on, will absolutely love this as well. Now, number 3 is Atlantis Chronicles, which relates to Aquaman. So before Peter David took the reins of Aquaman for years, he penned this incredible, I want to say that again, 7-issue historical tale, Atlantis Chronicles, and it delves deep into the history of Atlantis itself, how it was created, and the dramatic events that shaped its destiny. The narrative primarily focuses on two brothers striving to help their people. But, as often as is the case, things go horribly wrong and we lead to war. So this is essentially Game of Thrones, the Aquaman edition. And you know what? In my own words, that's fucking great. It's brimming with wonderful political intrigue, excellent developed characters, tragic fates, and a wealth of information about how Atlantis became what it is and why people treat Aquaman the way they do. I think this was a phenomenal book. It's easily the best Aquaman-related story I have ever read, or at least up there with John's run on the New 52. And it's just a very mature, dark, sometimes unsettling, and profoundly heartfelt, absolute must-read. It is that good. It was really hard for me to decide my top two, but I'm going to go with number 2 for Spider-Man 2099. And this is probably one of the biggest reading surprises of my life. The Spider-Man 2099 Omnibus instantly turned me into a fan of Miguel. So much, in fact, that I actually reread arcs within this book simply because now I love Miguel O'Hara so much. What Peter David accomplished here was a gritty, futuristic city of having Miguel essentially become its hero in this very dark place. And it is very dark. This is a very different Spider-Man, but one that works on so many levels. Because despite their differences, the Spider-Man still seeks justice and still helps people. You know, Miguel just might claw your throat out if you piss him off across the line. And, you know, I love that distinction. I like him being unique and different from Peter Parker. On top of that, the villains, while often resembling those of the regular Marvel Universe, all have unique twists and turns, even the Green Goblin himself. And honestly, it's really all about Miguel's growth, his struggle with his family, and his journey to becoming a true hero that makes this one of my favorite Spider-Man related runs of all time. I think this is an absolute banger of a series. And we're finally coming to number 1, which would be XFactor Investigations. Now, this series single-handedly made me a Peter David fan. XFactor Investigations is so fucking good. This series follows a group of mutants who decide to help their community by operating as private investigators. And it all starts with Jamie, aka Multiple Man, and his ragtag group that he assembles. It has major vibes of things like the show Angel, and in the absolute best way possible, I'm saying that. You get these really compelling cases ranging from issues of racism to theft, all while the internal family drama within the team headquarters is absolutely insane. And it's mostly because of Jamie, but you know, he's a little minx whore who sleeps with too many people. That's who he is, so it makes it fun. Now, I do think the ending suffers just a little bit, but this entire series is simply fantastic. It delivers incredible character growth, so many unexpected twists and turns, genuine, excellent character dialogue, and amazing plot lines that will either make you laugh, cry, or both. I honestly devoured this series, reading all 19 volumes of the trade in about 2 to 3 months, and now I'm rebuying them in omnibus form just to reread them again. To me, this is Peter David's greatest work, and that's saying a lot, considering most of what I have on this list ranges from good to great to absolutely fucking fantastic. And that is my list. Now, I would love for you guys to put your list of your favorite Peter David stories. By all means, it could be in different order than me. It could be different titles than me, but I want to see those lists down below. I just want to say that losing someone like this does affect me in some way, being as not only do I love comics, but as someone who loves to write comics and trying his best to make comics, it's getting lost in these worlds that these creators make is wonderful. It gives you a sense of happiness that you might not get in the real world. And I don't want to get too deep or dark or depressing, but when I am reading Captain Marvel now, it's almost like I'm there with Peter David and I'm feeling how much fun he is having writing. And it's these moments that I'm reading him write this stuff and reading it 20 years later and smiling because I'm like, I can sense where he might have been in life at that point. And these words will live on for all of time as long as these things are readable. So that's kind of wonderful to see. But yes, I think we should all take a moment to really appreciate all these artists and writers just coming out and giving it their all and making these wonderful stories that we can live in just for a little while. And it means a lot to a lot of people, no matter what age you are. Yeah, read all these comics. These are all worth reading. Even the worst on my list are still worth checking out. But the top 5 are must reads. Go pick those up right now, or top 6 even. And I hope you guys really enjoy these comics as much as I did. And again, rest in peace, Peter David. You gave me a lot of great years of reading, and I am truly grateful. But I am also going to go and read some more of your great work. Thank you so much.